Hi, this is Larry Hatch for Hatch's Beer of the Week, brought to you by Hatch's Encyclopedia Beer, a free guide to 4,000 beers in more than 240 different styles all over the world. And it's all free, no sign up, no password, no credit card, no nothing. Just go to the page, brew-base.com, click on the style you're interested in, read our reviews. The newest ones are always in red, and we give awards from 1 to 5 bottles based on the quality, and occasionally we'll give an award of merit to a beer that is absolutely smashing exceptional. Today's beer is from Founders of Comstock, Michigan, and a lot of you people know them. Some of their products are actually listed as Grand Rapids. This one's at Comstock. And anything from Founders, I am going to buy. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care if it's like $20 for one little bottle. I want to buy it because it's going to be worth it. And if it's not perfect, it's going to be interesting and near perfect. So anyway, this one has a long name. It's Curmudgeon's Better Half Old Ale, brewed with molasses and aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. So, if you know anything about molasses and maple syrup making, there's a little bit of sugar going on. I had to read the website and the bottle with a magnifying glass. Us older farts have to do that because the word curmudgeon was sort of hard to see, and it was in a kind of a weird font. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that word. I'm probably one myself. Anyway, this beer was announced in August of 2018. And again, that's something that Hatch's Encyclopedia Beer is good for. We have a lot of history of beer, when it came out, different versions and stuff. And stuff you won't find in the common beer databases. We're trying to lay down and have for more than 30 years. The history of some of these breweries, some of which are going out of business, and the history of these special labels that make reincarnations and so on. But anyway, this started in August 2018. I'll admit we didn't find this until I think it was 2020, and it was 2020. It made it into North Carolina, where we do most of our beer buying, although our panel do buy beer in the states that they live in. They actually started making it in 2012, so we're kind of ticked off that it took us 6 years to get it. It was 8 years. 8 years to get it. I must be a curmudgeon. I can't do math. Anyway, Founders KBS variants are really amazing. And we have reviews of a lot of those. I'll probably get to some of those shortly because those are very good products. So again, that's part of the reason I buy the Founders stuff, is they're making some freaking amazing beer. This is a must purchase without any doubt. I literally just grab a bottle. I don't even check the price. I just grab it. That tells you something about a brewery when you just see, oh, here's a new product, and I grab it. I don't even check the price. Now, money is an object for me. I'm not a rich guy. I'm strictly a middle-class guy. In fact, we don't accept advertising and sponsorship for BrewBase. So that is a non-monetized project. We're hoping to monetize it a little, but we're not going to take ads from beer companies like, well, some of the other people do, and have sold out. You notice when they start taking ads for beer, the rankings of those beers have gone up over the years. Yeah, just coincidence, right? Anyway, the one thing great about Founders is when you see their product and you got a new product, I just grab it, and I'll worry about how to pay for it later. Although I do not buy beer on credit. That's a really bad thing to do. Anyway, this stuff is 12.7%. Yeah, it's up there. And it's 35 IBU. So you're figuring, you know, that's getting a little thick and strong. The bourbon barrels hold maple syrup from their previous roll. And they're not from Founder's own operation. The molasses then kicks in. So the maple syrup is not an additive. It's from the bourbon barrels that aged maple syrup. And then, of course, they add molasses, which is very concentrated to really kick it up. I think if they just did the maple barrels, it probably wouldn't be strong enough. When you pour it, it's mostly clear, believe it or not. It's a dark brownish amber, more brown in a darker room. And it's got some nice copper tints all around. You know, it's not a stout, dark. You know, it's an ale. It's an ale that you can see through. It's translucent, too transparent. The head's a tannish cream, short-lived, and mostly fine and medium textures. The first sip's immediately rich. Oh, it's so full of molasses and maple syrup. But more of the molasses, because I think the maple syrup, you know, is from the previous aging, and the molasses is more of a recent influence. But you do get the two. I know the difference because I put maple syrup on pancakes, real Canadian or Vermont maple syrup, and I put molasses in coffee. That's something I learned from my grandmother. She was doing Starbucks before there was a Starbucks. She would take a glass of whole milk, you know, full-blown milk fat, just whole milk, and she'd put a tablespoon of instant coffee and a tablespoon of molasses in it. So you'd have a latte flavored sweet like with molasses in a tall glass of milk. Wow. And in fact, do that. Take a tall glass of milk, tablespoon of molasses, tablespoon of instant coffee. Doesn't even have to be good instant coffee. With all that other stuff going on, it doesn't matter, right? Although it helps. And you'll get a Starbucks you made at home, probably even better. Anyway, there's supportive sweet malts in this lovely Better Half stuff. And this can be a very sweet beer. Most of the time it is sweet. Some passages are really sweet, but they're stunning. They go on forever. They're heavenly. But it's not an ale soda. You don't go in an ale soda where they really sugar it up. The sugars here are maple syrup and molasses. They're quality sugars. They're complex sugars. And I know my molasses and I know my maple syrup, and probably shows on my figure that I know beer too. But anyway, by the way, molasses I can't find in some grocery stores nowadays, and I'm not sure why that is. But anyway, it's worth finding, and a lot of the young folks don't even know what it is. It's really hard to make good southern pecan pie without it, by the way. And don't use that crap dark corn syrup. Use real molasses if you're making pecan pie, or pecan pie, or pecan pie, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Curmudgeon Better Half is like a liquid dessert in a good sense. It's not overdone. It's a sweet old ale. It really is an old ale by definition. And at 12.7%, it's up there, and it's well sweetened. It's a masterful mix of sugars and malts that blend in such luscious perfection. It goes on, just endlessly rewarding. And again, it's not a simple soda ale. It's much more to it than that. And otherwise, it wouldn't have gotten a rating like it did with us, perfection. I frankly, though, have trouble consuming more than one of them. I would not want to drink more than one at a time because it is so rich. In fact, one of the panelists said half a bottle was enough for him. So, yeah, maybe it's something. It's a little strong. I mean, it's not barley wine strong, But with a 12.7, all that molasses, all that maple syrup, it's a quality sweetness, but yes, it is rich. One of the panelists described it as a flawless and robust treat, superficially simple and direct, but expertly crafted. And I would add the attention to the bourbon barrels and the maple syrup. Just make it perfect. You could have lost the maple to the molasses. They didn't. They kept them both going. They kept the malts strong, sweet but not too sweet. The complexity is there. Founders just knows how to do this stuff. I don't know how they do it. It's magic. I think it would be very hard for people to reproduce some of their products. In fact, I think everybody would if they could. But Founders Curmudgeon is worth seeking out. And especially if you know anything about the KBS stuff, you're going to want this one too. Again, please visit us at brew-base.com. 100% free. Thank you.